Have you ever wondered if you could build a complex web application with AI by just telling it what you want and blindly accepting the code? Today I'm putting that idea to the test. I tried building a German grammar exercise app using two completely different AI approaches. One where I gave minimal input and just let the AI run wild, and another where I took a much more structured and collaborative approach. The results were eye-opening, to say the least. Stick around to see the crucial lesson about how to actually leverage AI for coding effectively. This is Ashwin. Welcome to Promptly Ashwin. For our test project, we'll build a simple web app to practice German grammar exercises using tech stack, Ruby on Rails framework, Postgres as database, and Tailwind CSS for UI. I'm starting with a simple empty project folder. The idea here is minimal input, maximum trust in the AI. The key here is that I'm blindly accepting the AI suggestions. It pops up code changes and I'm just hitting accept all without really looking at what it's changing. Let's see where this blind faith leads us. Okay, it's done. Let's try bundle install. Seems okay. It installed everything and Rails server and it fails. We have an error. Just copy the error and paste it back to the AI. Let it figure it out. One more error, it's related to missing style sheets. Let the AI handle it, accept all changes, and we got something to see. So here's our first iteration. It's basic, very basic. It is displaying a list of grammar topics, which is a start. And if I click a topic, I get a list of questions. Let's try answering a question. I click the option, it gets submitted and nothing. It doesn't check if the answer is correct, it doesn't give feedback, it doesn't track progress. The core functionality is broken. I'll try answering another question. It's still not working. Okay, let's ask the AI specifically that I have submitted the answer, but nothing really happens. So the UI is very basic. I will also ask vaguely to modernize it. Let's accept whatever code is generated, and well, it does not look very well. UI seems off, the layout, header and footer doesn't look modern. The grammar topics displaying in the vertical line will not look nice as we have dozen of them. Let's check if submitting the answer validates or not. It kind of validates the answer, but honestly it's not really working correctly. I'll give it a Duolingo as the reference for the UI. Maybe it will make it better. What do you think might be the issue? Is it not looking into the code or not knowing how to wipe code? Okay, it added some SVG icons which are displaying at very massive size. I specifically told it to reduce the dimension, but it completely ignored that instruction. In the end, I just told it to replace the icons with plain text, which it finally did. I tried prompting a few more times to improve the UI, but it did not get much better. I'm using Claude 3.7 Sonnet, which is the best for software development. Here it has full context of the app, what tech stack I need to use, and what is the reference for the UI, and still AI is struggling to build something nice when I'm not looking at the code. After asking several times to fix it, I gave up. Here is the final version. It appears it tried to create a landing page with header and footer, but forgot to make it pretty. The grammar page still looks the same with the 3 topics, verbs, articles and cases. We have 3 questions for each topic. If you think vibe coding means skipping the boring stuff, surprise, it might actually create more of it. Look, the idea of vibe coding is amazing. You describe your vision, the AI handles the syntax, the boilerplate, everything just vibes right. But here's where beginners get tripped up. They treat it like a no-code tool. They give vague instructions, expect magic, and end up with, well, chaos. I've seen it happen. Broken UIs that look nothing like the request, accidentally leaked API keys embedded directly in the front-end code, major security flaws, logic that makes no sense. Even that viral post by Andrej Karpathy about coding with voice was often taken out of context. He's a world-class engineer. He has deep intuition about what to ask for and how to structure the request. So the truth is, vibe coding can be powerful, but only if you bring the structure. You need a solid thinking, clear requirements, and good engineering judgment. It shifts the skill from writing syntax to writing the architecture and validating the output. If you can't define it clearly, the AI can't build it well. Okay, let's switch gears. Now we'll try building the same app but using a more structured prompt based approach in how you might actually leverage AI in a real development workflow. Instead of a vague request, I began by clearly describing the scope of the project. I listed the core features, how users should interact with the app, how the questions gets generated, and the overall goals. Now for this demonstration, I'm using Gemini. Instead of jumping straight into the implementation code, my first step is to prompt the AI specifically for the database schema. From that first prompt, it produced an initial database schema, and this initial schema was actually quite decent, aligning pretty well with what I had in mind. It even went a step further and generated an entity relationship diagram. My next step involved a back and forth with the AI to fine-tune the database schema, where I identified unnecessary and redundant elements, as well as missing ones and tables whose purpose I initially didn't grasp. The AI's clear explanation, emphasizing the flexibility of the structure, ultimately clarified the design for me. So here's the final schema: the tables, the columns, and the relationships all laid out much better, right? Taking it a step further, I generated following prompt by using Claude to outline the code structure. This included defining the classes and their roles, their relationships, how the user interface should function, and even specific techniques I was interested in using, such as view templates, presenters, and turbo screens. I also specified all the required user actions and the overall project scope. With this detailed outline in hand, I am using it as a basis for Gemini to generate the actual implementation code. Here the AI isn't trying to build the whole thing at once. It works with you step by step. It's like having a developer buddy sitting next to you. It suggests changes, explains concepts, helps debug. It forces you to think through the logic. Okay, now AI generated a ton of code. This was a much better starting point than the vibe coding attempt. I noticed some areas weren't quite following the design principles, maintainability, and best practices I wanted, like proper separation of concerns. So I prompted again to refactor this part to use a service object, finders, and presenters for better decoupling and ensure controller action is linear. There were several interactions. I only asked specific. Here I asked it to not use any Ruby library for this class of what exact method or API or class it should create or modify with scope. This whole process, planning, prompting, reviewing, refining, debugging, took a couple of days. It wasn't instant, but it was collaborative and effective. Now I am excited to show you the final result. To generate the landing page, I turned to Claude 3.7 Sonnet, providing it with the complete project scope and feature set. This layout was then used for the login and subsequent pages. The result, as you can clearly see, is a significant enhanced user interface compared to our initial vibe coding approach. Believe it or not, this entire page was generated with just one really good prompt. I was super clear about the tech I wanted, like Hamel and Tailwind CSS. Then I took that code, broke it up, and put it where it needed to go in the project. Here's our list of grammar topics presented in a clean format. To show you how this works, let's quickly add a new topic to practice. Now this new topic needs questions. I added this generate questions section. Clicking this actually caused the ChatGPT API in the background to create relevant exercises for the topic on the fly. I will show you later in the video how I did that. Disclaimer: this direct API call probably isn't the best practice for a production apps architecture, but it's super convenient for quickly populating demo content. These topic questions are generated by AI, driven by a specific prompt. I'll show this shortly. Now let's start practicing. Clicking practice session creates a dedicated session for these questions, and here's the practice interface. We have the question, next, and previous buttons, the current question number, a progress indicator. Everything works. Let's answer these questions. Submit answer, and perfect. It exactly identifies the answer as right, updates the progress, and even provides a little explanation. This is exactly the functional app we set out to build. In our first attempt, this fundamental part of the application was completely broken. Here the AI, guided by our detailed detailed prompts about how the questions should be generated and how users should interact, was able to build this core logic correctly. So remember those question type and question tables we talked about? Well, I use those to drive different view components so we can display each question type correctly. For example, you see here, fill in the blanks, choose the correct answer, and other types like yes or no and sentence reorder. All of these were built using individual view components. So what's the verdict? As you saw, the vibe coding approach, just blindly trusting the AI with minimal input, led to a broken, unusable mess. It might seem fast, but the end result isn't worth it. The structured prompt-based approach, however, was much more successful. It required upfront planning, clear instructions, iterative refinement, and my own expertise to guide and correct the AI. It took longer, yes, but we ended up with a functional, decent looking application. The key takeaway is that AI is an incredibly powerful tool for developers, an accelerator, a co-pilot, but it's not yet a replacement for understanding development principles, debugging, and architecture. You still need to be in the driver's seat. Vibe coding might be a fun idea, but structured prompting and collaboration is where the real value lies today. To generate the questions, I rely on prompts. Each prompt is structured to produce a distinct question type. To further enhance the quality and diversity of the questions, I generate different variations even within the same type. This is the prompt template I use to generate fill in the blanks questions. You'll notice that I have clearly specified that I want the output in JSON format and have gone further by giving the AI the precise JSON structure I need. To continuously refine these prompts, I meticulously log both the input request and the AI's response. Here is the code. What are your experiences using AI for coding? Let me know down in the comments. If you found this comparison helpful, give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.